Hey guys, it's Kayla and I'm back with another video. Today we're filming my November reading wrap-up. I know I just posted my October one, but November is done, so we're filming this too. But today we're gonna sit down and chat about all the books I read in November. November was a pretty good reading month for me. I read 25 different books, and I got a little bit more caught up on my reading goal. I'm only 7 books behind now, so I'm determined to make it happen in December. I read some pretty good books in November and got started with some Christmas reads, so I'm excited to talk about all of them today. If you're new to my channel, hi, my name is Kayla. I am an author, social media manager, and personal assistant, and this is my life here on YouTube. I also have a book talk and a bookstagram where I talk about books almost daily on both of those, so you should follow me there too. That's enough for this intro. Let's hop into all the books I read in November. First, I read Mine to Have by Natasha Madison. This is the first full-length book in her Southern Wedding series. I read the prequel novella to this book in October, and I finally dove into the full series in November. I actually listened to this whole series on audio, and the audiobooks for these are really good, so I definitely recommend listening to them. But this is book 1, and it's a second chance romance, so you get kind of their first chance at romance in the prequel, and then this is their happily ever after. Harlow promised Travis that she would be there for the best day of his life, and originally she thought it was going to be her, but now he's getting married to someone else. But when the wedding falls apart and Travis sees that Harlow is there, he realizes how much he misses her and how much he still cares for her, and they have some fun together, and it turns into so much more. This book is super funny, super cute, and a great start to this series. Next, I read Praise by Sarah Kate. This book in the series has been on my TBR for so long. I honestly just kept waiting for a good time where I could sit down and read the full series. I did get through the first 2 books in November, and I plan to read the second 2 in December. And I'm so glad I finally started the series because these books are very, very hot, very spicy. This one is a ex-boyfriend's dad book. Charlie breaks up with her boyfriend, and she needs the money that he owes her from their security deposit. So he tells her to go pick it up from his dad, who he doesn't talk to. So she goes to his dad's house to get the money, and she meets Emerson Grant, who is just the hottest older man on the planet. He offers her a job as his assistant, and the two have lots of chemistry together. And when she finds out that he owns a Smex club, she is very intrigued and wants to know more about it. And this book is just so good, a great start to the series. It is so hot. Definitely read the series if you're into spicy romance, because it's a good one. Then I read Mine to Hold by Natasha Madison. This is the second book in her Southern Wedding series. I actually posted a video on this both on TikTok and on Instagram Reels, and the one on Instagram Reels went like insanely viral, so if you're new from that video, hi, hello. But I really enjoyed this book. Again, super funny, but also steamy and just lots of drama. No, I don't want any drama at my wedding, but I liked living vicariously through the characters in this whole series. This book focuses on Shelby and Weston, aka Ace. Shelby is set to get married, and the night before she gets an email from her groom, and she realizes it's a love letter to Weston's girlfriend. Weston is Shelby's guy best friend, if I didn't say that before, but Shelby realizes that her soon-to-be husband is cheating on her, so she decides to read his love letter as her vows in the middle of the ceremony and then dump him. And instead of going on her honeymoon alone, she invites Ace, her guy best friend, to go with her. And they have a very spicy time together on this couple's resort. Super hot, super cute. I really love this series, and this was book 2. Next, I read Eyes on Me by Sarah Kate. This is the second book in her Salacious Players Club series. I honestly did not expect to enjoy this book as much as I did. It is a step-sibling romance. So full disclaimer there, don't read this book if you're not into step-sibling romance at all. But I did enjoy this one a lot more than I thought. It has a lot more depth than you would think. Basically, Garrett goes on a camgirl website, and he sees his stepsister Mia, and he realizes that she is a whole woman that he did not realize was right in front of him, and he should stay away from her, but he cannot resist the chemistry that is brewing between them. I really loved Garrett's character. He goes through so much in this book and in his life, and I really like what Sarah did with his character and how he developed throughout this book. Really love the first 2 books of this series, and I'm excited to read the other 2 in December. Next, I read Second Bite by S.J. Tilly. This is a spicy Christmas novella. Super quick, lighthearted, steamy read. I really liked it. I've definitely completely forgotten the characters' names, but the hero is a judge on a cooking reality TV show. The heroine goes on as a contestant, and she's like half in love with the judge, and he falls head over heels for her the first time he sees her, and wants to be with her but knows they can't during the show. Definitely insta love, definitely steamy. I really liked this one and I can't wait to read more of SJ's books. Then I read Merry Little Me Cute by Sierra Simone and Julie Murphy. I'm so glad I finally picked up this book. It has been on my TBR since I got the paperback arc at Book Bonanza in July and heard Sierra and Julie talk about the book. This book is about B. Hobbs and Nolan Shaw. B is a plus size porn star. She's also on an OnlyFans-esque site and that's kind of her career, but she's trying to get more into acting and suddenly it falls into her lap to be in a Hallmark-esque movie. And basically no one can find out that she does porn or she's gonna get in trouble with the movie producers. But her co-star, Nolan Shaw, who is an ex-boy band member, totally knows who she is and is a loyal subscriber. So they're both kind of keeping secrets from each other, but also trying to keep a squeaky clean image for their Hope Channel movie, while also trying to ignore the steamy hot chemistry between them. I really loved this book. It's cute, it's steamy, it's Christmassy. Definitely recommend this one, and the audiobook is really good, so I also recommend that as well. Then I read Mindy Cherish by Natasha Madison, book 3 in the Southern Wedding series. In this book, Clarabella is set to get married. She kind of had a whirlwind engagement and wedding, but when she finds out her soon-to-be husband has a child with another woman that he was trying to hide, she takes off, and as she's leaving the wedding venue, she runs into Luke, who's her biggest enemy, but he takes her away to his secluded cabin to get her away from all the drama. And of course, things happen between them. Again, another funny, steamy read in the series. They're just so good, and I highly recommend them. Next, I read Suddenly Dirty by J.A. Lowe. This is a rockstar romance book, which normally I'm not into rockstar romance, but I did really enjoy this one, and I'm excited to kind of read more in the series. Sienna finds out her husband is cheating on her, so she wants to get out of town, so she takes a job as a stylist for a boy band on the next leg of their tour. Evan is kind of a bad boy player rock star, and he has no plans to settle down anytime soon, but when he finds out his band is getting a new stylist and he sees her picture for the first time, he falls half in love with her. These two have kind of a whirlwind, forbidden, secret romance. It's super steamy, super hot, lots of drama, as always with J.A. Lowe's books. I really liked this one. So if you like rockstar romances with steam and drama, I definitely recommend this book. Then I read The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. This is another ex-boyfriend's dad romance. I just realized that I read 3 different ex-boyfriend's dad romances in the month of November, so there's that. This is part of Nikki's Nashville Neighbor series, which are all pretty short but spicy reads. I actually read the 3rd book in this series first, and I read it a few months ago, so I decided to go back and read the first 2 books in the series. Again, ex-boyfriend's dad romance. Cassidy breaks up with her boyfriend because he's not really treating her well, and she falls into the lap of her ex-boyfriend's dad. Greg, aka Dr. Lowe, knows he should stay away from Cassidy. She's too young for him, too good for him, but he can't resist her. Lots of tension, lots of steam. I really love this book and this whole series. Next, I read How the Grumps Stole Christmas by Claire Kingsley. This was probably my most anticipated read of the holiday season, and it did not disappoint. It was cute, it was funny, it was heartwarming, as always with Claire's books. I really enjoyed it. Elias Stoneheart is a total grumpy Christmas hater, and he has to go back to the small town he kind of grew up in to convince his ex-girlfriend, high school sweetheart Isabel, to sell her family's farm to his company. Seeing Isabel again, he realizes that he totally is still in love with her and he might not be able to convince her to sell after all. If you want a super sweet, super cheesy Hallmark-like Christmas read, this is definitely it. Next, I read Tempt by Melanie Harlow. This was the other ex-boyfriend's dad book I read in November. This was one of my most anticipated reads of the month, and it did not disappoint. Melanie blew me away as always. Millie gets stuck in New York City during a storm and decides to go down to the hotel bar for a drink. And that's when she meets Zach, who is an older, hot ex-Marine. They have a very steamy night together, and she doesn't think she'll ever see him again until she goes to her ex-boyfriend's rehearsal dinner because she's his wedding planner. And then she sees Zach, who happens to be her ex-boyfriend's dad, and they should stay away from each other, but they can't resist the chemistry between them. This book is hot, probably the hottest Melanie Harlow book that I've read. I really enjoyed it. You should definitely read. Next, I read Blindsided by Amy Dawes. This has been on my TBR for a while because I love all the Amy Dawes books that I've read, so I finally kind of went into her Harris Brothers world. This is a friends to lovers romance with a hot soccer player and a plus-size seamstress. Freya and Mac are total opposites. You don't think they would even be friends, but they are the best of friends, and when things take a turn and they kiss each other for the first time, they no longer can resist each other, and they kind of have a whirlwind romance together. together. I feel like I've said whirlwind so many times in this video already, but this book is super cute, super funny as always with Amy Dawes' books. So definitely recommend this one, and I'm excited to listen to the rest of the books in the Harris Brothers world. I realized I read a lot of wedding drama books this month. I'm not really sure what that says about me, but here we are. But next I read One Night Standers by Heather M. Orjan. I think that's how you say her last name. If I messed it up, I'm sorry, Heather. Basically, Sammy is supposed to get married because her dad is dying and she wants to see him walk her down the aisle. And this is a little complicated, but the night before her wedding, she finds out she's pregnant with another man's baby, so she tells her groom and he wants nothing to do with her and walks away. They were on a break when she got pregnant with someone else's baby, so she wasn't cheating on him. Again, very complicated, but it all makes sense. She has no idea what she's gonna do because she still wants her dad to see her get married, and then her brother's best friend walks through the door. He was her first love and he thinks he like completely lost his chance with her until he watches her groom storm out, and he gets on his knee right there and proposes for her. A lot of the drama in this book happens in like the 10 to 15% mark, and then it's like kind of smooth sailing after that, but it's really funny, really cute, and I really loved how much the hero loved the heroine and the baby that wasn't even his. Also another rock star romance, if I didn't say that either. So that was my next read. Next I read The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. This is book 2 in the Nashville Neighbors series. This is a reverse age gap, so older heroine, younger hero, and mom's best friend book. Erica is hanging out by her pool topless when her best friend's son, who cleans her pool, comes into her backyard. He sees all of her and enjoys what he sees, and they have a very steamy encounter, which kind of just sparks it all between them. Don't know what else to say about this book besides it's really steamy, really hot, and I definitely recommend reading it. I'm gonna go a little bit out of order here now because I feel like it just makes sense to talk about these next 3 books together. But I read all 3 books in the Holiday Brothers series by Willa Nash, aka Devney Perry. These are 3 short, interconnected Christmas novellas that I really enjoyed. I read the first one as an ebook, but then I listened to the next 2 on Audible because they're actually part of Audible Plus. So if you have an Audible subscription, you can listen to them for free. I really enjoyed all 3 of these stories. They are super cute, lighthearted reads for Christmas. I just love Devney's writing so much, and I'm glad I picked up these Christmas novellas. Next, I read another Christmas novella, The Christmas Blanket by Candy Steiner. This is a second chance romance, and I really liked it. Really good for Christmas time. Eliza is on her way home for Christmas after being gone for several years, and she gets stuck in a snowstorm and ends up riding out the snowstorm with her ex-husband. All the chemistry is still there between them, and she realizes why River let her walk away the first time. Super emotional, but also super steamy and super cute. Next, I read The Sweet Spot by Adriana Locke. She is one of my favorite authors, and this book probably is now one of my favorites from her. Palmer is a hardworking single mom with a preteen son, and she doesn't think she'll ever open her heart again. But Colbeck, the retired baseball legend, walks into her life with so much swagger, and this man falls first, he falls fast, he falls hard, and he's determined to give her anything and everything even when his life seems to be completely falling apart inside. This book is sweet, this book is emotional, it's heartwarming. I highly recommend it. This is probably one of my top reads of the year now. It was so good. Next, I read Too Tempting by Sarah Blue. This is book 4 in her Heat Haven series. I really love this series, and I really liked this book. If you want all the spicy goodness with lots of group activities, this series, this book is it. This is an FFMMM Omegaverse, so 2 girls, 3 guys, and it has the typical dynamics of an Omegaverse. But this one's even better because it has 2 Omegas. There is lots of emotion, lots of drama going on through this whole book, but you still get all the spicy goodness and group activities of an Omegaverse as well. So I really liked this one, and I'm sad that the series is almost over. Then I read Enticing the Scrooge by Jessica Kane. This was a typical Jessica Kane novella with all the Christmas goodness. I don't know what else really to say because it's Jessica Kane, but if you want a wild time, pick this up. Next, I read Something So Right by Natasha Madison. I'm quickly becoming a huge Natasha Madison fan. I really loved the hockey romance series that I read from her earlier this year, so I decided to kind of go back to the beginning of her hockey romance with Something So Right. Parker is a single mom who owns an ice rink that's a rehab center for hockey players. Cooper needs to rehab during the off season, so he goes to the rink, and he's kind of instantly taken with Parker, but she wants nothing to do with this playboy hotshot hockey player, but he's determined Madison to win her over. I really liked this book. I listened to it on an audiobook and it was just like a quick light read. I read Mine to Love by Natasha Madison. This is the last book currently out of her Southern Wedding series. There's more books coming out next year. But this book is about Presley and Bennett. Bennett is Presley's brother's best friend. Presley is determined to never fall in love, never get married. So she likes to hook up with Bennett, but she pushes him away beyond that. But when she finds out she's pregnant with his baby, she has to go to him and tell him she's pregnant. And he is ready to be there, anything and everything that she needs. But she's not quite convinced that she wants to let him in. So lots of sweet, steamy goodness. I really liked this book and I'm excited for the next books in the series next year. Then I listened to Visions of You by Catherine Cowles. This is a free ebook and audiobook that you can get on her website. This is a prequel novella to her next series that starts in January. I'm really looking forward to that series and this was a good little intro to that. Lex has a stalker and she's kind of determined to just push it away and not think about it, but her best friend calls her brother Wes to come in and kind of help them with it, and Wes and Lex have kind of unrequited feelings. I don't think unrequited is the best word, but they both have feelings for each other, but they're not really willing to act on them, or at least Wes isn't. But the stalker kind of brings their feelings to the forefront when they're forced together. This was just a quick short novella, but it was a good intro to the next series and I'm really looking forward to it. And my last read of the month was 'Tis the Season for Revenge by Morgan Elizabeth. This was an ex-boyfriend's boss romance, not an ex-boyfriend's dad romance. Abby gets dumped by her controlling ex-boyfriend on Halloween night and she kind of comes up with a plan of revenge. And when she gets on a dating app and sees her ex-boyfriend's boss on the dating app, it all kind of comes to fruition. And she realizes that the best way to get back at her ex and show him what he's missing is to show up at his Christmas party on his boss's arm. But from her first date with Damien, she realizes there's a lot more feelings and emotions there and she feels bad for betraying him, but can never really bring herself to tell him the truth. And it all kind of blows up at that Christmas holiday party. This one is super, super steamy, a lot more steamy than I expected it to be, but I really enjoyed it. I feel really bad for the main character. The heroine definitely deceives him for like most of this book and I feel like she did not grovel enough, but I did really like it for the steam and kind of the holiday aspect of it. I just talked for way too long, but those are the 25 books I read in November and my review of each of them. I'm really glad I had a great reading month and got a little bit more caught up on my reading goals, so we'll see if I can read 28 books in December and actually hit 250 this year. We're gonna try our best. We'll see how it goes. Lots of Christmas novellas are in my future. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave any comments down below, and subscribe to my channel if you are new. And if you want to see more book content from me, definitely check out my book talk and my bookstagram. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I will see you in my next one.